You alright?
No, I'm not alright, Mike. 3 days of this got my nerves all rattled.
Okay, this video is going to make a lot of people unhappy, and that's okay, because the journey of abstinence is not for the weak. Recent studies showed that from 2017, just 24% of people between 18 and 23 said they were having casual sex, compared to about 38% in 2007. So basically, y'all not out here hunching no more, and we finna talk about it. We need to discuss the tea on celibacy. Like, why did everybody just decide to stop doing the nasty? And is that a good thing or a bad thing for society? The answer to the latter may just surprise you. But before we get into that, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell so that you can be notified of future videos just like this. My name is Tandy. Now let's get into it. Do you use dating apps? I'm personally not a fan, but the way the dating app Bumble just completely went under fire for their latest ad campaign is wild. A recent article from The Cut says that Bumble's anti-celibacy campaign is not going over well, and while that is the understatement of the year, did y'all see the ad? I'm gonna try to put it on the screen if I can find it. This is the ad. Like, this, understandably so, did not go over well, right? Let's check out a couple TikToks because, yeah, the girls were not here for it.
This is for the advertising and marketing director over at Bumble, the dating app. If you're not that, you can keep scrolling. Bumble, count your days. You really have billboards all over the city talking about a vow of celibacy is not the answer. So what is the answer? Giving it up to raggedy, undeserving men? At 2 Bumble? We've already been bombarded with people saying there's a male loneliness epidemic. They're tired of waiting on you to heal. They're going to start putting their hands on you because they're getting frustrated. So now we have all of this pressure from the news media, from society, from the patriarchy, from every direction telling us, just give it up, stop fighting, give the men what they want. And y'all are doing it too? At 2 Bumble? Y'all are just as raggedy as the men you're trying to shove down these women's throats. You got men on here talking about ladies, some of y'all are gonna have to settle. No. For the men out there who refuse to get their lives together to make themselves worthy catches for these women, but still want you to settle for them, no. To Bumble, trying to guilt trip and manipulate women into settle for these raggedy men, no. Y'all make that bear look better and better every day. For y'all to be an app that's all about women making the first move, and now you're telling the women what move to make? Who came up with this idea? Who greenlit this campaign? I bet it was a man.
You know, I'm glad that she said that.
What do you mean by that?
I had to look it up. Who actually is the head of marketing over there? I was shocked by what I found though. Y'all, tell me why Miss Selby Drummond is the chief marketing officer over at Bumble. Look at this. She only been in office since the beginning of this year. So to be fair, maybe this campaign was already in motion by the time she came to.
So apparently, Bumble has issued an apology, and in it, they're claiming to get rid of all billboards associated with celibacy. And as cute of an attempt as this is for y'all, I don't give a damn. Continue to boycott Bumble. Yeah, this Bumble fumble is so massive, and it's one of those things that once you see, you just cannot unsee it. And I personally cannot unsee that Bumble really got on these billboards and told women, y'all are putting y'all's coochies on ice a little bit too much, and it's costing us money. If y'all don't get outside and bust it wide for Clyde and throw it back for Jack and stop playing, and I can't unsee that. And if that's how you feel about women and their advocacy for their bodies in public, I can only imagine how you feel about us behind closed doors. So yeah, this was cute, but the Bumble boycott is still on. Delete the app today. Thank you.
I don't know. Regardless, it just doesn't look good for Bumble right now. I mean, there are valid reasons why people are choosing to abstain from their lustful ways.
My boy, you would be a lot happier with your life if you stop letting your lust control you. And this ain't no huge religious talk. Yeah, there's religion in it, but celibacy is for everybody. Dog, you don't realize how much more control you have over your emotions and the way that certain situations do or don't influence you until you take the equation of sexual encounters out of it. Like, if I'm gonna be real, bro, for a solid about 4 years, every relationship I had with a female, either it was sexual or there was sexual tension behind it. And my reason for going celibate was getting right with God. But once I realized how much control it gave me over myself, bruh, stuff don't even get under my skin the way it used to. Like, you know how people say, oh, there's always this one girl that can hit the nerve that only your mama can hit. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Ever since I done stopped, you know what I'm saying? I done took the meat out the deli. Bruh, it's over. Like, can't nobody piss me off for real. Like, obviously, yeah, sometimes I get annoyed. I might get bothered. But can't nothing really take me back to that dark place I used to be in. And it's all because I'm controlling my energy through not releasing myself. You feel me? And, bruh, using celibacy with prayer and fasting, dog, I have so much, like, enlightenment on my life, my situations, and what I want my future to look like. I feel unstoppable. So I'm telling you, and this really don't just go for dudes, but I am talking more so to dudes right now, just because I know there's that animalistic nature that you have to deny as a man to pursue sex. Women are more on the emotional side of things. Yeah, they have sexual desires, but there's a thought process that's connected to sex for most women, at least. But as a dude, it's so easy to slip into it looked good, so I hit it. Some of y'all getting confused by these dudes and women sex appeal and how good they look that you don't realize they don't have nothing to offer. But I digress. I'm telling you, I challenge you for the next 21 days. Don't communicate with the opposite sex on a romantic level. Don't talk to nobody that you interested in. Keep it PG. You know what I'm saying? Don't entertain no sexual content, no media that's provoking your thoughts sexually. Get off the gram if you got to. Get off of TikTok, Twitter. Please get off of Twitter. I encourage everybody to delete Twitter. And watch how when you come out of them 21 days, how different your mindset gonna be. You gonna start to look at people like, what? Just watch.
Write that down, write that down!
So, today marks 1 year of my celibacy journey. 1 year ago today, I decided to cut men out of my life entirely. Meaning, I deleted all dating apps. I would respectfully decline any men that approached me, whether that be through social media, on the street, in the club, whatever. And the only men I would really talk to were male friends and family members, of course. Now, I can't lie. At first, it was very difficult. I've always been the kind of person that bounces from talking stage to talking stage, so the most pertinent thing I experienced was loneliness, because it was weird not having someone to talk to all the time. So I felt the effects of that pretty heavily for about 2 weeks, but at the end of the 2 weeks, I got used to it. At the end of the 2 months, I loved it. I had no one stressing me. I had no one asking me why I was going out to the club, what I'm wearing. I had no one arguing with me. I didn't have to uphold my standards to anyone. But of course, you're not hide from men forever, so I decided to put myself back out there a little bit. But I still upheld my standards of I don't want to be intimate with anyone until I'm in a relationship with them. The 2 months turned to 3, turned to 4, turned to 6, turned to 8, turned to 12. I used to have a very severe anxious attachment style. If I felt energy was off in a man I was speaking to, I would go insane. Not the kind of insane where I'll go key his car or something, but the kind of insane where I will cry myself to sleep. It will be mental torture. And I hated it. I did not know how to break that spell. And I also just had no grasp on what I actually wanted my standards to be. But spending more time with myself, focusing on my mental and physical well-being, focusing on my goals and my ambitions, it really solidified my standards for me. And when my standards were more solidified and I realized the worth I have, it kind of just dropped my anxious attachment style. Now, don't get me wrong, I did have some lapses in judgment, and I did talk to men that were not great for me. But cutting them off was a lot easier, and it hurt a lot less. It's a lot easier for me now to reject someone and to be rejected. I used to take it to heart when I felt rejected, like real bad. Not the type where I would like freak out on the guy. I've never been like that, but embarrassed and kind of ashamed. I'm not like that anymore. It doesn't bother me. And now, if I sense there's energy off with a person I'm speaking to, I'll say, hey, you okay? If they say yeah, okay, great. I'm not gonna ask you again. And I'm not going to internalize it. I'm not going to take it to heart. And I'm damn well not gonna let it ruin my mood. I feel a lot more mentally healthy than I have in a long time, especially pertaining to relationships. And I'm a lot happier just being alone all the time. I'm living in a new country completely alone, and I don't really experience loneliness at all. And my desire and desperation for a relationship is pretty much zero at this point. If one falls into my lap, I'll take it, but it hasn't yet, and I'm chilling, I'm cool with that. But anyways, I know a lot of people have thought about it, but they don't necessarily know the benefits of it. These are just the benefits I felt, but I'm very proud of myself for making it to a year. Who knows how much longer it will continue, but I'm chilling either way. And I'm gonna go out and treat myself this weekend.
It has been absolutely hilarious to me to see men in this country losing their collective shit over the 4B movement. For those of you that don't know what it is, the movement started in South Korea, a society that is very misogynistic. The 4Bs refer to 4 words in Korean, which I'm not going to pronounce, but I will put right here and tell you what they mean. No hetero marriage, no childbirth, no dating men, and no hetero relationships. The women in South Korea are fighting back against a society that treats them horribly. And many in the US now are starting to take up that movement as well. And you know what? I'm all for it, because the fact is women have been fighting for centuries to be treated with the same level of respect and dignity that men are. And even though they have more rights than they used to have 70 years ago, there are far too many men in this country that think women shouldn't be able to vote or work or own a house. That the only purpose of women in our society is to take care of the house and have children. It's absolutely ridiculous that women are still fighting against this level of misogyny in 2024. It's sad that for all men's statements of protecting women, it's actually more about controlling them. It's time for society to change. And if women need to take on the 4B movement in America to do it, you have my support.
I think the only thing to take away from this entire situation of abstinence on the rise is that people are fed up doing the same thing and expecting different results. I mean, after all, is that not the definition of insanity? It sounds like the younger crowd is standing on business when it comes to self-love. But if you're not hunching, then what is you doing, baby?
The best thing I could have done for myself is when I got a hobby. I feel like having a hobby has made me almost a better person. Like, I feel like I saw this TikTok and they were like, y'all be talking to so many guys, y'all be having such a large roster, or y'all guys be talking to so many girls, y'all be having such a large roster because you're not focused on you. And I was like, uh-oh, that is so true. The reason, like, I was thinking about it and like, how can you even focus on that many people? Like, I don't know, they were talking about how you really have to do some self-discovery if you have like a huge roster and you just talk to men or women back to back to back. And I was like, that does make sense. Yeah. They were like, you need to get a hobby. And I was like, oh, that makes sense too. You do need to get a hobby, because I feel like now that I have a hobby, I don't even have time for a man. Girl, I'm out and about. I'm on the go. I feel like when you don't have a hobby and you're not focused on yourself, it makes you do things and puts you in positions that you probably wouldn't have been in if you just focus on yourself, you know? Like, you're at the club, you're drinking, you're smoking. Yeah, I don't know. Not to say anything's wrong with those things, but just now that I have a hobby, I'm like, or now that I'm focused on me and really delving into that, girl, my energy doesn't even belong at a club. Don't even ask me to go. And I know for a fact I would not be sitting here talking on TikTok if I was talking to a man right now. Being alone forced me to get out of my comfort zone, and talking to you guys is out of my comfort zone. And look at me, I'm doing it.
Okay, now wait a minute, because Shorty might be onto something here. Hobbies can have many benefits for your mental health, including reduced stress, enhancing focus or concentration, whereas like physical hobbies like sports and stuff like that would provide more physical benefits like flexibility and strength. So I love that for the youth, honestly. It's almost like not having sex is actually good for society. Or is it?
The world population is collapsing. People don't realize how serious this is. So the replacement fertility rate is 2.1. That's how many kids people need to have in order for the population to sustain itself. Any lower and population declines. Well, right now, 75% of the world is below replacement rate. The US is at 1.6, Canada 1.4. It's happening in Europe and in Asia. And last year, the population in China has decreased for the first time in 60 years. Japan is losing 500,000 people per year. Population decline is happening faster than we thought it would happen, and there doesn't seem to be a way to solve this. But not only are people around the world not choosing to have more kids, it's getting harder to have kids. Infertility rates are skyrocketing across the world. Male sperm counts are drastically decreasing, and miscarriage rates in women are increasing. So the peak population for the world is only expected to reach about 10 billion people by 2066. And then after that, population will decrease indefinitely. Now, you might be thinking, Mike, this is a great thing, Mike, this is good. No, it's not. As years go on and less young people are born, the age demographics are going to skew towards older people, which means the future population is going to consist of mainly old people. And when the economy depends on younger people to do the work and do jobs, it's not going to be good when there's only older people to do it. France already tried to increase the retirement age to 64, which caused an outrage, as you saw. But the biggest worry here is China. China's population is going to see the biggest drop in any other population in the world. And this isn't good for the global economy, which depends on China. Their population is expected to decrease by 50 to 60% by 2080. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but perhaps AI will help us and do the work for us, or even reverse aging for us. But nothing's guaranteed. We have to remain cautious. We often think that we're overpopulated, but that thinking might harm us in the long term.
Now, this is an interesting perspective in my opinion. Like, I understand it's probably not ideal that people are not making babies, for sure. But when you take into consideration the videos we watched previously and the countless others on the internet just like them, is it too far off to say that as a society we want more for ourselves than what previous generations demanded, let alone desired? The world is different now, and there are so many more opportunities to live a fulfilling life outside of starting a family. And when it comes to women, we recently did a video on how dangerous it is just being a woman and walking the streets of New York. That video was wild. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. The video alone should tell you all you need to understand why there's a rise in abstinence and celibacy. And throughout this video, I want people to truly understand the difference between abstinence and celibacy, okay? So, per Google, abstinence usually refers to the decision not to have penetrative sex. It's typically limited to a specific period of time, such as until marriage. That's why you hear a lot of people say that they are abstaining from sex until marriage, right? Whereas celibacy is a vow to remain abstinent over an extended period of time. For some, this may mean their entire life. Now, well, that sounds a little bit crazy. So celibacy is like completely just not having any of the sexual things, right? Whereas abstinent is no penetration. Based off of this definition I'm seeing on Google, I don't know, y'all can debate with me down in the comments below. You know, I love a good discussion. That seems to be the only difference here to me. So throughout this video, I will be using the terms abstinence and celibacy interchangeably. Back to what we were talking about though. So is being celibate good for society? I think that answer is a lot more nuanced than society would like to admit. Being responsible with your body is a choice that is always going to depend on the value a person places upon themselves. So if a person chooses to not engage in promiscuous activities for whatever reason, we need to respect that as such. Now, as far as a sustaining population goes, I don't want my dark sense of humor to overshadow this question, but what exactly are we sustaining for?
Well, just as I thought. Trash.
Inflation is high as hell and the housing market is trash, so forgive them people if they don't want to have sex right now. There's a lot going on, you feel me? Like, the world is literally spiraling out of control, and if the only thing that people actually do have control of is their bodies, let them have that. You know? I think when companies like Bumble mock an entire group of people who are just out here minding their business and trying to survive in a lustful world low-key, it most certainly comes off in poor taste, right? Especially when your entire marketing strategy prior to was to empower women to feel safe in the world of dating. The only app where women were once required to make the first move. They recently got rid of that too, by the way. And I know for the sake of this video, both men and women are choosing to abstain from sex, but Bumble was not about to go this whole video without bringing up their prior marketing strategy.
So in 2014, Whitney Wolfhard is working at Tinder but leaves the company to file a lawsuit. It's because of what she experienced at Tinder that she decided that she wanted to create a woman-focused dating app. Introduce Bumble, where Whitney is the founder and CEO. And with Bumble, Whitney wanted to create a comfortable and empowering online dating space for women, where it's known that women make the first move. Because this was obviously a new app and a new business, they had to invest heavily into marketing. Some of their marketing tactics have been super creative, while others have been called out to be super questionable. So let's get into it. First and foremost, I think one of their most obvious marketing tactics is the fact that they empower women first. Unlike other platforms where anyone can initiate the conversation, with Bumble, women have to make the first move. And by putting women in control, which was new for dating apps at this time, Bumble was able to create this sense of safety and agency, which definitely was a strong selling point for them. Another thing that they were able to do really well was their creative and attention attention-grabbing ad campaigns. And whether it's billboards or social media promotions, Bumble has consistently been able to deliver creative and memorable marketing content. One example is when Bumble partnered with Babe Movers for a campaign for those relationships that just didn't quite work out.
I don't know who's got what going on and why, but leave the celibate and abstinent people alone, okay? It's clear they're not bothering anybody, so let them be great. Jeez. How do y'all feel about this topic? What do you think is the reason why people stopped having sex? Do you believe that people abstaining from sex is harmful or beneficial to society? Let me know in a comment down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you definitely a real one. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to tap that notification bell so that you can be notified of more videos just like this. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.